promised, we have Trail of Dead coming up for a chat just in a couple of minutes' time. I am lucky enough to have Jason from And You Will Know Us by the Trail of Dead in the studio with me right now. Welcome to the studio, Jason. How's your day been so far?
Not bad. Just, getting reacquainted.
Getting reacquainted. Now, you've been in Australia a few years back. When precisely was the last time the band was in the country?
2011, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and there was another tour probably a few years before that, I think, as well.
Yeah, 2009.
So you've got a few, regular tours here.
Yeah.
Have you find you've got a pretty strong fan base? How has it been so far?
Yeah, it's been, Melbourne was really nice. There was quite a few people there. Yeah, it's definitely a good thing, to come back here. For us, it's a big journey, but it's worth it in the end.
Did you realize it at the time that what you were writing has gone down, as a classic? I mean, was it something that you were conscious of when, at least through the recording process?
I think no, of course not. I mean, you
didn't have an inkling that it was something special at the time. It was a surprise when you got that kind of.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think for us, we were definitely ambitious, and we were shooting for something a lot bigger than our last record, and we've always felt it was important to make music that was more timeless. For us, that was a goal, to write an album that we would consider worth something, 10 years later. And that's a lot of our favorite albums, from the past still have, meaning to us. Our favorite albums are, definitely you put them on and you're like, yeah, it brings you back to a certain time, but it also, it's just you're just glad that they're, perfectly made, So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us, it's one of those things that you don't really know what is really going to happen until it happens. And, the response was pretty amazing.
Do you still listen to the album yourself these days? Is it something you go back to and enjoy, or do you see imperfections in it and flaws that kind of frustrate you?
Well, just going back and listening to it recently, it's pretty stunning for us. For me, I'm like, wow, we're actually writing some pretty interesting music here. This is so and it sounds good. And I think Mike McCarthy, the producer, really, really just had a lot to do with the sound. And so yeah, it's definitely one of those albums where you're not cringing, when you listen to it.
That's one good thing, I suppose. I've also heard that you've actually dedicated the new album to Pussy Riot. Is that right, or is that?
We dedicated a song. We covered one of their songs with this band, the Coat Hangers. They sang the song and we did the music, and yeah, it was definitely. And then Up to Infinity was pretty much dedicated to them. That you're right.
We spoke briefly off air about the album as a whole entity, and the merits that come with having patience to listen through a whole album.
Right.
Do you find people's music consumption these days a bit frustrating? I mean, for a band like yours, I could imagine it could be.
I mean, I guess
fleeting interests in singles and downloads and a band that turns up and is hyped for a week and then disappears.
Yeah, I think in one way you're kind of I'm guilty of this. I definitely I flip through music a lot, but there's definitely albums that I'll listen to from start to finish. My Bloody Valentine, Loveless, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, or just there's just those albums, that you put on and you just can't take them off, and or you throw them on your iPod or whatever, and you just can't remove yourself to change the track, or you can't, so and for us, it's always important to make kind of a bigger a little bit more conceptual of an album, for me, I grew up with punk music, and punk rock there was an energy to it that you definitely tap into, and it kind of keeps you, I don't know, it makes you feel alive, and I think that's what we were trying to go for, is to retain that energy. One of my favorite bands is Fugazi, and I know for you kids out there, they're probably old, but to me, I've always listened to older music. The people that I got into were already in their 40s and heading towards 50. When I was like a young kid. Well, I wouldn't say maybe not that old, but I know I like listening to Fugazi, and when being at 18 years old. Ian MacKaye is like he's about to hit 40, and so but I never thought about music as age, I always just thought of what someone is trying to provoke you, in a sense.
So it's more about the attitude of the band, I think. Yeah. I mean, Dinosaur Jr. just toured here recently, a couple of months back, and that show was sold out, but with, the majority of the crowd had, and this isn't a bad thing. This is a good thing that I'm saying. The majority of the crowd, I think, were there on the strength of the last couple of singles from the recent album. And they're under 25, most of them.
Nice.
It's great to see. Jason, what's next for the band? What have you got lined up after this tour wraps up? Are you gonna put out another album anytime soon? It seems like you're not showing any signs of slowing down, at
least. We actually started recording an EP. It's like oh boy, you guys are gonna love this, but it's a 20-minute song. Well, we'll see how it turns out. We're still working on it, and that's gonna come out in September. We are doing. The funny thing is, we are doing a Pitchfork festival, playing with like Bjork and R. Kelly and
fantastic,
and a couple of other newer bands. But yeah. So that should be interesting. We're doing that, and then we're touring quite a bit in America, and then we go back to Europe. So we're busy.
That's good to hear.
We were super busy and productive.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jason. Best of luck tonight with the show. I'm going to go out with Bright Young Things from Lost Songs.
I like that track.
Yeah, I like it too.
Nice choice.
It's a nice vibe. It's a bit different to the other tracks on the album, and I like it for that reason. So thought we'd switch up the pace a little bit. Here it is. Check it out tonight if you're lucky. And I'll give you all gig details for the show in just a moment as well. So hang around. You're an FBI.